What's up everybody, the Dead Guy here, and in this video I'm going to go over 10 tips I wish I knew sooner in Tribes of Midgard. And if you're new to this game called Tribes of Midgard is a survival game which blends action RPG for about 1 to 10 players, so it has multiplayer, which is hard to find in the survival game space. You can craft legendary items, grow your home base, and embark on an epic journey through procedural realms to face towering creatures hell-bent on unleashing Ragnarok. So let's get into my tips. And getting straight into tip number 1, do not go adventuring too soon. The urge to adventure is always there in a survival game, trust me, I know, but in this game, adventuring can kill you pretty fast. So, my first tip that I wish I knew sooner was to just stay in the area where you spawn and do not go adventuring too far, because you'll likely run into enemies that want to try and kill you. So please, stay put. And this leads me into my next tip. Tip number 2, follow the tutorial when you spawn in. Now, this might seem like an obvious one, but trust me when I say, just follow what Ira the Foot Crushed has to say and you'll thank me later. Like I said in tip number 1, if you adventure too far out too soon, you will die a lot, and it's hard to get your gear back once dying. This will not happen though if you just follow and stay near Ira. Follow her instructions and you should be okay. But if you do start adventuring farther out, a little cat will appear called Maniklo and or Solira, and they will also tell you that's a bad idea. In this game, there's a thing called power level, and you need to have a certain power level for each area you visit. So to get there quicker, just stay put in spawn and do the intro quests. Once you have your first kit of starter gear, weapons, and tools, you can start adventuring out more. Now getting into tip number 3. Do not travel at night unless you are sure you are ready. This is one of the biggest tips I can offer for early game especially. At night, there are way harder enemies that spawn and they will surround you and overwhelm you if you are not careful. My best tip is to not stray too far away from the Tree of Yggdrasil during the early game until you are confident in your combat abilities. The enemies at night are no joke, so do not adventure too far out at night, especially during the early game. Now tip number 4. Make sure to use your T button, which activates a teleportation rune when needed. When I first started this game, I had no idea that when you hit the T button, you activate a thing called a travel rune that takes you back to a Tree of Yggdrasil. This rune is a great way to get out of a sticky situation, or if you just travel too far away from your base. Fair warning though, this rune has a long cooldown time. It takes about 2 seconds to actually activate and take you back to the tree. And if you are hit during this activation period, the rune will cancel and you will need to hit the key again to activate it. So make sure you are in a safer location or running away from danger while you activate. I usually only use this rune as like a last resort when I'm in over my head and the area I am in is just too dangerous for me to be there. Tip number 5, collect and save your ancient cores and souls. These items are extremely valuable to you no matter what stage of the game you're in. This tip is one that I definitely wish I knew sooner. So what are souls and ancient cores, you say? Souls are pretty much the currency in this game. You need them for crafting and buying items from traders. Ancient cores are used for crafting and you can only get them from yellow bar enemies. They are harder to farm than the souls because yellow bar enemies are the stronger enemies in the game and take more resources to fight. Also, you only get 1 ancient core per yellow bar enemy. Souls, however, you get from defeating any enemy and therefore are easier to obtain. Also, make sure to save the ancient cores in a chest every once in a while so that when you die, you do not lose them. Unlike the souls, however, you cannot store, and if you lose them, they're gone for good. There are, however, runes and perks that will help you save a certain percentage of them upon death, so make sure to activate those perks and use those runes as they will save you the hassle of farming for more souls. Now let's get into tip number 6. My tip number 6 is equip new blessings as soon as you are able to. This one is a huge tip for the early game. There are things in this game called blessings. These are pretty much just skill points and they give you the opportunity to spend them to make your character stronger. Make sure that when you level up, you immediately spend these points to upgrade your character. These blessings are game changers, so make sure you are choosing the right blessing for your playstyle and character. For example, if you wanted to specialize in swords, there are specific blessings that make your character better with using swords. Or if you want to have a higher health pool, there are blessings for increasing your health, or one of my personal favorites, a blessing for spawning in a mini Tree of Yggdrasil that gives you an area of healing during combat. There are lots of great combinations and blessings to choose from, so make sure to spend them wisely. Tip number 7. You can purchase better runes at any trader. During my first playthrough, I didn't realize that the better runes in the game are only available for purchase at a trader for souls. There are only a handful of runes that drop in the actual world as you play, but the better ones are for purchase at a trader with the souls that I mentioned earlier. These runes for purchase can give you way more options in terms of build customization for your character than the default ones that drop randomly in the world. So make sure to visit a trader that you found to possibly buy better runes from them, utilizing the souls that you gain from playing the game. Tip number 8. Use portal shrines sparingly. Now, what are portal shrines? Well, portal shrines are the fast travel mechanic in Tribes of Midgard and will be your best friend for traveling around the map. However, you use ancient cores to craft them, and like I said earlier, ancient cores are very limited to come by, and you will need them for the endgame content. Each portal shrine uses these cores to craft, so make sure to craft them only when needed, and you aren't just crafting them and placing them down everywhere on the map. So, be strategic with your portal shrines, and this will help you limit the amount of cores you are using while still having the ability to travel to key locations on the map. Tip number 9. Farm the Jotnar bosses. The Jotnar, or the Jotuns, are the first 4 big bosses in the game and are actually farmable. Each time you defeat a Jotun, you increase its level by 1 each time. So if you've defeated one 7 times, let's say, the next time you face it, it'll be level 8. Jotuns are the best way to get the best gear in the game, so I recommend farming these bosses as much as possible. There is a cooldown though upon defeating them, so you'll have to wait a while before it respawns. But a message will appear stating a Jotun has appeared in Midgard to let you know when one has returned. So get to farming these bosses for the best materials to get the best gear in the game. Now on to my final tip of this video, tip number 10. Clear the fog on your map by utilizing your boat. The map in this game is pretty big and awards you for exploring. The best thing that you can do is to explore by boat as much as possible. However, you don't need to get off of the boat, but just take your boat out onto the open seas and open up the map as much as you can, as there are hidden locations and things to do in areas you would least expect. Not to mention all the different biomes and stuff that you'll need to visit later on. So opening up the map opens up your options on what to do next. So try to use your boat to clear the fog on your map as much as possible. My only warning though is to watch out for the sea serpents, as they will attack you on your journey, so just make sure to avoid them as much as possible. Alright, well guys, those are my 10 tips that I wish I knew sooner in Tribes of Midgard. Tribes of Midgard is a fantastic Viking survival game that I hope you will enjoy after watching this video. I also hope you enjoyed and found something useful in the video, and if you did, leaving a like really helps me out. If you enjoy survival games as much as I do and want to join my community, feel free to subscribe and join the Discord where you can talk to me there. It's also free. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.
I live inside my world of make-believe. Kids screaming in the crate.